As a child, we are so often told that our emotions are bad, and the subconscious creates situations to try and bring that material to the conscious mind. Simply being aware of an emotion is enough to make a big difference in our lives. Hello, my friends. I hope you are all very well. Welcome back to this channel. My name is Amy, and I'm so excited to tell you a little bit about a very important topic today. Now, this is the topic of our emotions, right? We so often understand them in such a superficial way, right? We understand that we have sadness and fear and happiness and judgment and jealousy and so on. But we don't really understand these emotions, and we don't really know what their purpose is. So today I want to tell you a little bit more about them, because when you understand your emotional world, you can really start to transform your life. Right? When you understand how to feel and process your emotions, your behavioral patterns change, you can heal from many things from the past, and you can find a lot more empowerment and freedom in your day-to-day life. So the first thing I'd like to start with is the fact that you're watching this video, and if you are listening and watching this video, then I urge you to stay until the end. Because when we choose to do the self-development work, when we actively make a choice to go inwards and to explore our inner world, right? Our emotions, the different emotions that we feel, our traumas, our fears. When we choose to go in there, we will have less pain in our day-to-day lives, because all of this material that we're about to explore is held within the subconscious mind. And the subconscious creates situations to try and bring that material to the conscious mind. But if we're unconscious that this even exists and this is what's happening, it's very hard for us to even be able to notice that and to notice that that is happening. So all of this material is in our subconscious mind, right? You will experience less pain and you will experience more freedom, more joy, by simply knowing that these emotions are stored there and that our emotions are chemical messengers. They are not random. They are not there to scare us. It's not something that's going to stay forever. They are messengers. They are trying to deliver a message to us, right? So let's take the emotion of guilt, for example. Imagine you do something that is not good for your relationship with your partner, right? Let's say you cheat on your partner, for example, and you experience the feeling of guilt. So often this can feel so bad that we just don't know what to do with it. It feels so intense, it feels so bad, we just want to push it away, right? We want to suppress it. Maybe we won't say anything and then the guilt gets worse and so on, right? But what guilt is really trying to do is to show you where you've acted out of alignment with your true nature. Right? So your true nature is not cheating on your partner, for example, and that's why you experience that guilt, and that guilt is trying to push you to make a decision next that is going to be in alignment with you, i.e. maybe talking to that person and telling them what really happened. This is where our emotions are our messengers, okay? So even if we take something like anxiety, so often when we feel anxious, we're trying to suppress it, we're trying to push it away, we don't want to feel it because it's so uncomfortable. The magic thing to remember when feeling our emotions consciously is that they won't be stuck there forever. And sometimes the fear with our emotions is that they're going to be stuck there with us. We're going to feel the anxiety forever, we're going to feel the grief forever, the anger forever, so we can't let ourselves feel these emotions. But this is absolutely not true. And something I would highly recommend is next time you are feeling these emotions, invite them in. And there's a practice that I will give you where you are literally going to talk to your emotion. Hi, anxiety, come and join me right now. It's okay. I'm not going to push you away. Just join me. And you're going to sit with your eyes closed and you're just going to feel into that emotion. And you're just going to feel what it's like to invite it in and to just be aware of it. Sometimes simply being aware of an emotion is enough to make a big difference in our lives, right? Simply just being aware can really help to integrate that emotion and to help understand the message that that emotion is trying to deliver. So let's take anxiety, right? Let's go back to our example of anxiety. Anxiety is essentially telling us that we need to be wary of something, that we need to be thinking about the future because we need to be careful about something, right? Like something is coming and, we need to make sure that we're doing it right, that we're organized, that it's happening in the right way, because if we don't, then X, Y, and Z could happen, right? Anxiety is actually fear's way of trying to be organized. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Anxiety is fear's way of trying to be organized. So when we're in fear, it's such a difficult and high, frequency emotion to feel, right? It's very, very intense, that we actually need to then move into anxiety to start to problem solve. Because if we sit in fear, we are going to be totally frozen, right? Like, when you're in fear and you're scared of something and you don't have a solution, you're just frozen, right? You don't know what to do, you can't move. So what the psyche does is it moves us into anxiety, which is essentially problem solving for the future. Okay, I've got this problem, I need to solve it, I need to make sure I think about it, and I think about it again, and I overthink about it, and and this is what anxiety is. It's actually a very, very, very smart response to fear. So when you're experiencing anxiety, you want to think, what is the fear that's behind this anxiety? And unpack that, and then sit with that emotion, sit with that, invite it in, as I just explained to you. Sit there and invite it in to be with you, right? What are you scared of? And let's unpack this together. And let me tell you right now that you don't need to be scared of this anymore. Because most of the time our fears come from programmings or experiences from childhood. And we had to have fear at that time because we didn't have necessarily the tools, the techniques, or the capacity to overcome the fear as a child. So as an adult, your work now is to consciously allow that emotion in without suppressing it, and to go back to understand what is the root cause of this fear. And then to change the narrative where you can tell yourself, we don't need to be scared of this anymore. This is of the past, and I understand that we still have triggers that, scare us, but we don't need to be scared of this anymore because we're no longer living in the past. Now, something that's really important is the body doesn't know the difference between the past or the present. It doesn't know the difference between fear from the past or fear from the present. In the same way, it doesn't know the difference between stress, from your boss screaming at you or telling you that something's gone wrong, or stress from the fact that you're being chased by a lion. It doesn't know the difference, it just knows stress as stress. So this is where we need to consciously come in and tell the body and our nervous system that we're not in the past and we're not being chased by a lion, and our response doesn't need to be so intense, right? We can calm ourselves down. And there are ways you can do this with breath work, as I said, talking to yourself in this way, journaling. There's different ways that you can start to consciously calm yourself down whilst you're doing this process. So this is just a message for you guys to know that your emotions aren't bad. And as a child, we are so often told that our emotions are bad, right? Like, if you feel a certain emotion, it's bad. If you cry, it's bad. You've got to be a strong boy or a strong girl, or you can't run around and be too excited. You have to be a good girl or a good boy. Sit upright with your posture, your spine straight, your posture in a good form. And what this does is it suppresses the emotion within us, okay? So going back to our childhood, I'll give you an example. Let's say you are running around your living room. Maybe you're 4 or 5 years old. You're running around your living room. You're super excited. Maybe you're dancing and you're shaking your hips. And your mum says, hey, come here. Stop being so excited. We have guests. Don't shake your hips ever in front of anybody. So you sit down. And what's happening internally is that you're understanding that, number one, there should be shame around shaking your hips. And number two, it's not safe to be excited because mum gets angry. And if mum gets angry, that means that my love has been retracted, because as a child, you don't understand that obviously, an adult can love you but also get angry at you. You only understand that one emotion can exist at any one time. So if they're not loving you and they're angry at you, that means the love's been retracted in that moment. So as a child, you're internalizing all of this. And if this isn't integrated later on, this comes with you into adulthood. And what happens? You will then see someone dancing freely, shaking their hips, maybe they're excited. Judgment and jealousy come into the picture. Oh my God, I can't believe how she's dancing and shaking her hips. That's so embarrassing. all of these kinds of things start to come, because those are the parts within you that have been suppressed. So this is where judgment and jealousy come in as such powerful tools to show us what material is residing in our subconscious that needs to come to the conscious mind. Make sure you've integrated the knowledge from this video, because you'll be able to share it with your loved ones. You'll be able to work on it, and they will see the change in you, and you will experience differences. If you are stuck in a behavioral cycle that sucks, and you're stuck in feeling like maybe you're not good enough, and maybe you're not beautiful enough, or whatever your story is, whatever that narrative is that you're subscribing to, then make sure this video is understood. And if you want to take things further, then do book in a call with me. We can discuss your journey and see if you're a right fit for Empower. So you'll see everything in the description below. So please do click in there. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope this has been really, really helpful for you. I'll see you in the next video.